Being a footballer isn't easy, especially the tough and long road it takes to get there. Many players are born with a lot of talent, others work their way up, but some get stuck along the way and never quite reach the full potential they have in them. Fame, money, injuries and more often take advantage of many young footballers out there. Welcome to Top 5 Football, and these are the top 5 failed Wonderkids who never fulfilled their insane potential. Number 5. Sebastian Diesler. Making his Bundesliga debut with Borussia Mönchengladbach at just 18 years old, the German attacking midfielder and winger was dubbed the future of Germany by everyone. Bit of pressure for a teenager, huh? The following year he moved to Hertha Berlin after his past club were relegated to the second German division. While at Hertha, he established himself as the midfield master at only 19 years old. But then, during a World Cup qualifier game against bitter rivals England, he made an impressive skill to score the first goal of the game. But everything went downhill, and Rudi Voller's Germany team were destroyed with a 5-1 score. A lot of criticism was put on Diesler, since there was a lot of hype going on around him, especially after the German icon Franz Beckenbauer described the young lad as physically and technically the best in Germany. Later that year he tore his synovial membrane in his right knee and missed the rest of the season. But in July 2002 everything appeared to shine again for the German when he moved to German giants Bayern Munich. But during his spell with the Bavarians he only managed 64 appearances in 4 years and injured himself right before the 2006 World Cup in Germany. After suffering from depression he decided to retire in 2007 at just 27 years old. Tough break for the German promise. Number 4. Keirrison. It was the summer of 2009 and Barcelona had paid 14 million euros for a 20-year-old striker that was said to be the next Ronaldo. Nicknamed K9, he attracted a lot of interest in Europe after 3 golden years in his native Brazil. With Coritiba he scored 65 goals in 122 appearances, and with Palmeiras he scored an amazing 24 goals in just 26 games as a 19-year-old. Barcelona were convinced they had signed their main man. Having had amazing Brazilians like Romario, Ronaldo, Rivaldo and Ronaldinho, nothing could go wrong, right? Well, it so happened that Keirrison never made a single appearance for Barcelona. Right after he signed for the Catalans, he went on to loan to Benfica. There he failed to score once and only played 335 minutes. Then he went on a 2-year loan to Fiorentina with an option to buy for the same 14 millions Barcelona had paid for him. But after 6 months, Fiorentina terminated his contract and sent him back. After that, he returned to his homeland and never came back. It was later known that back in 2009, newly appointed manager Pep Guardiola never asked to sign the player. Instead, former president Joan Laporta wanted to sign the young player to sell him off in profit to begin with. How sad. Number 3. Ravel Morrison. Described as the best kid you'll ever see by none other than Sir Alex Ferguson, Ravel Morrison looked destined for greatness at Manchester United. But after fighting for his place in the senior team, he had to fight his own psychological problems. He was part of the famous class of 2006, a team which had the likes of Johnny Evans, Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard. But Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes and Gary Neville all said he was the best of them all by a mile. He went on to make his first team appearance for the Red Devils at the age of 17, and everything looked promising after a few good matches. But after some disciplinary problems, United decided to sell the young prodigy to West Ham. And I know it's poor, but because I was there from the under-9s, I would skip training some days. I would wake up and I would just skip it, I don't know why, said the player in an interview. His next manager, Sam Allardyce, tried everything to help the player shine again. The manager even hired a private chauffeur exclusively to wake up and bring the player to the training ground. After unsuccessfully being able to revive the talent in Ravel Morrison, he went on to play for Birmingham City, Queen's Park Rangers, Cardiff City, Lazio, Queen's Park Rangers again, Mexican side Atlas, Swedish side Östersund, Sheffield United and his current club Middlesbrough. He has not played more than 30 matches for any of them. Ferguson even told senior players that Morrison was the biggest talent he'd ever seen at United at the age of 14. Better than Scholes, better than Giggs. What could have been. Number 2. Hachim Mastour. One of the biggest talents that never fulfilled his amazing potential was the attacking midfielder Hachim Mastour. At just the age of 14 he was tipped a future Ballon d'Or winner, and that attracted interest from many clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona and Juventus. But it was Milan who signed the bright young star for a hefty fee of 550,000 euros for a 14-year-old. By the time he was 15 he was playing for Milan's under-23s, and he was known in the world of football as the best 15-year-old in the world. At such a young age, the Moroccan-Italian-born was being sponsored by Nike, Red Bull, and was making commercials alongside Neymar. He was known for his skills and agility on the ball, and for the 2013-14 season, back then manager Clarence Seedorf promoted the player to the senior team at just 15 years old. He was on the bench but never made his actual debut. Then in 2015 he was loaned to Spanish side Malaga on the request of the club owner. He signed a 2-season loan, but after only playing 5 minutes in his first season, Malaga rescinded his contract and went back. Then Milan loaned him to Dutch side Zwolle but never impressed, so after going back he stayed at Milan until 2018. Then they decided not to renew the player's contract. Now playing for his hometown club Regina in the 3rd division, he is still only 21 years old and hopes that he can find his way back to the top. Number 1. Freddy Adu. Perhaps the perfect example of too much too soon, the Ghana-born forward had the entire world at his feet when in 2004 he became the youngest player ever to sign a professional contract in the United States at the age of 14. Chosen by DC United in the 2004 MLS Super Draft, he went on to become the youngest player ever to play when he made his debut later that same year. He went on to become an American icon and made over 85 appearances for the club. In 2006 he even went on trial to Manchester United. Everything went well, but due to him being under 18 years old, the club and the player had to wait for the work permits. That same year he was selected twice for the MLS All-Star team, and was even nominated for the FIF Pro Young Player of the Year. But after a fallout with DC manager, he was sold to Philadelphia Union. But he lasted less than a year, and moved to Benfica for £2 million. Things went well for Freddy Adu, but after 3 managers in less than 6 months, he was loaned out to Monaco and Belenenses. During those 4 years, the only glimpse of good football that he displayed was while playing for the US national team. In neither team he shined, so in 2011 he returned to the MLS to Philadelphia Union. But later that year, the manager who gave him hope was sacked, and in 2013 he joined Brazilian team Bahia, and his big downfall started. He went on to trial for numerous teams in hope of his resurrection, but no team gave him hope. The last team he played for was USL team Las Vegas Lights, but in 2018 he was released. Currently 31 years old, and without a team, Freddy Adu will go on to the history books as the young boy who was destined to be the next Pele.